Uh, Coming now, come on. Time's up. Time's up.
Hello, everybody, and thank you guys for joining us again. My name is Victor Verba, and I am here with my good friend, Mr. Jeffrey Young. Jeff, how's it going today, buddy?
Going great, man. Coming at you from my isolation house here. So we don't have the fuzzy bunny back here, but hoping that everything goes great with this podcast this evening.
So far, you're looking good and you're sounding good today, man. Jeff, I am excited, dude. Summer is here. The weather's finally starting to turn around a little bit. And you know what? The other thing I'm super excited about is shows are starting to open up again.
Yes.
So I know us here at Verify, we've got a few things booked. We got a few things coming up. And one of the ones that's, right around the corner that I'm super stoked about is Cisco Live in Las Vegas. Can't go wrong. Are you a Vegas kind of guy, Jeff?
I'm a Vegas in small doses kind of guy. I get there and typically, so I've been to Live and Partner Summit and some other Cisco conferences, VMware out there. And I tell you, man, typically roll in Sunday and by like Tuesday, I'm like, when do I leave? This is too much for me. Make it typically to the Thursday and get home, and then it's that kind of joke, right? You need a break from the trip that you were just on. But I enjoy Vegas. I don't enjoy realizing that it's 4 or 4:30 in the morning when I have like an 8 o'clock session to attend. But hey, it's by design, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is, and I tell you what, I love Vegas. I could never live in Vegas because I would be at the casino and drunk constantly. So it just, with me, it would not work. Yeah. But I do love Vegas, like you said, in small doses. But I'm super stoked to be out there again. Super stoked for Cisco Live coming up. And today we've got a special guest joining us today who's also going to be out in Vegas with us. So welcome, Matt Sykes. Matt, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Matt. So what about you, man? Are you a Vegas kind of guy?
I can be a Vegas guy, but I'm with Jeff on that one. Small doses. Maybe when I was a little younger, when I was out there in my early 20s, maybe. But for the most part, I'm with Jeff on that. Couple days, I think that's enough.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. So Matt, welcome to the show today. And I thank you very much for coming on and joining us today. We love to be able to kind of introduce people to the faces of Verify, some of the people that they work with on a regular basis. Matt, tell us a little bit about your role here at Verify. Give us a little job description.
A little job description. Well, I mean, that is better than the previous questions I have been asked, I suppose. But what I do here is I work on the systems engineer team, primarily focused, I suppose, on sales engineering. So mainly what I do, my roles, I work with with our sales account managers, as well as the channel resellers and the channel partners to help close new business and land new business.
Okay,
excellent. In a nutshell.
Tell us a little bit about what are some of the things that you see when people are coming to us or coming to you. Maybe they're new, maybe they're existing. What are some of the things or the struggles that you're hearing that customers are trying to use Verify to meet?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of things. I'd say probably a general one would be, first getting on, with new clientele, showcasing the software, then, allowing them to see it with their own data in it, whether that's, deploying, an eval system on their side of the house, or whether I run something locally here with some of my data or with the data they provided me. But from there, mainly it's, about, productivity style metrics. So are my people answering the phone? Are calls being abandoned? How many calls are being abandoned? Now, if you're talking contact center stuff. So definitely kind of a lot of the abandonment, where are my calls going? Who are they being transferred to? Are they being rerouted to an empty queue, to a dead hunt group, something like that? So definitely, I think, routing and configuration pitfalls is definitely kind of what I try and uncover out of the gate for the customer base.
Sure. Excellent. So, and from that perspective, and tell us a little bit of background. I think you and I are in very similar roles within Verify. Really kind of that onboarding, and when customers come to us, they have kind of the certain needs and things like that. Tell us a little bit about some of your history. Where did you come from? You came to Verify. I knew you. This is kind of a loaded question. I've known Matt for years, and Matt and I go way back, and we're good friends. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Who's Matt?
Who's Matt?
Oh man.
Well, that's a loaded question.
This is also a family show.
How much time we got here? Yeah.
Not the Matt I met on the South Side Parade.
Not that guy? Okay, gotcha. Well, I've been in, I guess phone system kind of analytics, since probably the latter half of 2005. So that's dating myself a little bit, but I mean, I've definitely been, playing with Cisco CDR, even TDM switch data, for a long time at a couple of my previous shops. So, I mean, obviously just dealing with the grind, working with yourself for quite a long time, as you just mentioned, learned a lot along the way, met some great people, great connections, and advanced myself with my own educations kind of in this market space that we find ourselves in. But I came over to Verify towards the beginning of 2019, pre-pandemic. And like I mentioned, worked for our tech department primarily, and now I'm a sales engineer, even though I didn't want to be in sales. Here I am.
Welcome to the party. So, and that's an interesting point. Is we are, sales engineers, system engineers. The way I kind of look at it when I work with my customers is. I'm not a salesperson. I've never been I don't want to be a salesperson.
Oh, Vic, everybody's a salesperson.
Coming from salespeople, that's exactly what they say.
Yep.
But I don't know. I always look at it like I'm here to meet a need. Like these people, they're not coming to us because they don't have something that they're trying to fix or solve. When they come to us, it's because there's something that can't be done. So, whether it's they're using Cisco reporting or they're using something from another vendor that doesn't quite meet a need, so I always approach it much less where, I'm not trying to sell you the product. I'm here to show you what the product can do. And I hate to say it, it's very cliche, let the product sell itself. But it kind of does. But, everybody needs a little bit of guidance. And I think that's where, kind of you come in and I come in is, look, if somebody said, hey, you know what, here's a photo editor, go ahead, have at it, make me a new photo. I'm going to be like, I'm going to spend 15 hours looking online to try to figure out how to make it work. And that's where, kind of we come in is we get to kind of show them what would take them 15 hours to look at a video and figure out how to, I don't know, put Jeff's head on your body.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Vic, that's a good point, right? Is that and again, I am on countless calls with the two of you and obviously other SEs on our team while we're doing, whether it's customer evals, onboarding partners. Matt and I were on one 4 hours ago. Just kind of impromptu that popped up, and I went running and said, who's available, and got my good friend Matt here to jump in, and he did an awesome job. And I think it's one of those, right? I think people with an engineering background and mindset are doing just that. It's let me show you the solution and let me fix your problem, as opposed to, well, hey, I know you said that you don't really want this feature, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, right? It's more about solving the problem, and I think that's pretty unique. Having dealt with, in my previous position, multiple vendors. I mean, man, somebody's always angling, right? And again, we
always
be hustling.
And yes, there are a lot that are, right?
There are, man, there are.
and I mean, I think it's I think it's great that it's hey, let's solve the problem, and then kind of take things from there when it comes down to what they're looking for. Obviously, sometimes they don't know that they have a need for some features, and then when they see them, right, they move into them. But I have not seen a hard pressure sale from Mr. Verba or Mr. Sykes, which is which is nice.
No, and I can even attest to that, gentlemen. I want to say even maybe like the first week I was here at Verify, or yeah, no, it was the first week I was here because I was already on payroll. But when I started seeing the software, and obviously I have a background in this data analytics stuff, so it was very familiar to me. But seeing this the Verify application, and like you said, Victor, I'm not a sales guy. I don't want to be a sales guy. I'm not trying to be the guy at the front of the train, leading the charge. I'm the engineer in the rear with the gear. That's the guy I like to be. I like to showcase what the software can do. But yeah, my first week after kind of playing with the software, I even told my manager then, which happened to be one of the owners of the company, that I said, I'm not a salesman, but I can sell this stuff myself. Like you said, it kind of sells itself just with the value it provides in every kind of installation that we see. Now, every bit and piece isn't always needed or utilized, but definitely opening some eyes, I think, is fantastic. And then, Jeff, like what you mentioned, not trying to shove, extra modules or inflate, the sale or something like that, but address the problem. People come to us with the problem. We have solutions to solve these problems.
Yep.
And Victor and I are both kind of the same credo, where we're very kind of enthused to jump on those and kind of hammer through those and solve those really difficult issues, and then make ourselves look good in the long run as well. Can't hurt.
So it brings up a good point. So what would you say, being from both, on kind of the pre-sale side, you're here, you go into, a customer that's, maybe they're looking at CDR, they're looking at UCCX or something like that. In other words, they're coming for us for predominantly like an analytics type solution. Besides the analytics piece, what would you say is the number one thing that you see customers needing that, let's say, they don't even know they need? What would you say from a modular perspective? What do you think?
Change management.
Okay, change management.
Change management. Just like you mentioned, like not knowing if they need it, but as soon as you showcase it to them, you're like, wow, this is really cool. I wish I could have had this 3 months ago when we had that big kerfuffle and everything blew up in our face that weekend.
Right. Yep. I would say so I would always go a little bit different. From my perspective, when talking with a lot of customers, I think maybe the second for me thing that I see most is the DN/DID management. And the main reason I say that is just because once people have a chance to see it, they're like, oh God, I don't have to do spreadsheets anymore. And that's the number one thing I hear is just like, I'm saving my language, but yes, those damn spreadsheets that, somebody didn't update, or somebody was supposed to update, or, at the end of the year, somebody's got to go and true up. That's probably, I would say, for me, one of the number one things people see, and they're just like, oh, well, check that out. Like, I mean, I don't have to, figure out who didn't or did update the spreadsheet or anything like that. So that's from one of the things that I see is pretty common.
Huge time saver. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it really is. And one of the things that's hard in our business to always is return is to demonstrate that return on investment. It's hard because we are an analytics company. So how do you put a dollar on the analytics that people are getting? I mean, it's easy, I think, when you go into an opportunity and they're like, oh yeah, we're taking Cisco data, and then we stuff it into a spreadsheet, and then, we take this and then we do VLOOKUPs, and we've got pivot tables over here, but people are doing it. And they're like, it's a nightmare for them to do. That's easy. That's easy to show that return on investment, because I can, literally click a button and say, here's the report that, you spend an hour a week, 2 hours a week doing. But the other side is, things like change management. They're like, how much time is that saving me? Well, when it blows up, it's going to save you a lot of time. Or if you're just trying to keep a better handle on all those hands in the cookie jar, it does save you a lot of time, because look, RTMT logs suck. RTMT audit logs suck. So trying to find out who did what in an audit log sucks. But it's hard to return that show that return on investment. But I think with DN and DID management, for me, it's always a little bit easier. Just because it is say, okay, well, you know what? Look, let's go ahead and add a phone to your call manager. Now go to the spreadsheet. Look up what phone you can add. Now go to the other spreadsheet and look up what DN or DID is available that's going to match that DN in your other spreadsheet. Now,
true.
Hope that it's there, and somebody just updated the spreadsheet. So for me, it's always a little bit easier to say, hey, you know what? You guys are spending this much time for every phone you're adding. We've eliminated that. So that's kind of from my perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right there, the DN/DID management module, like you said. I mean, the ROI that does return is quicker visual time on obviously what their inventory is.
Right.
Well,
It takes the dread sheets.
How many hands are, if you get into a large organization that's got, name the number of DIDs, right? How many administrators are touching that spreadsheet? And let's be honest, guys, it's not updated, right? I think we had Brian that we had on one of our previous podcasts. I think internally referred to it as a dread sheet at one point, and
yeah, he did.
Absolutely hilarious, right? Because it goes with and I mean, I've seen this done, prior to me joining Verify a number of years ago. Someone was doing some crazy stuff within spreadsheets for their for CDR reporting, basically. And all that occurred to me when I saw it was, one, wow, that's really crazy that you were able to do that. But two, what happens if you're not with the organization anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, that person spent hours upon hours upon hours honing this. And I guess you can, argue well, you did it on our time. It's our spreadsheet. But I mean, a row changes, a column changes, change, it's gone, right? And the person that built that, and I know that person's actually not with that organization anymore. So I don't know if that spreadsheet's still floating around that they were doing stuff in. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the change management related stuff. Just being able to see what's going on in the environment and add a little bit of visibility to see that Jeff logged in and changed a route pattern, and that's why the Chicago office can't dial out. Right, you can fix stuff faster. And we see our partners actually use it too in their pro services, which is awesome, right? So
migration
that leave behind, it helps with some of the documentation that the deployment engineers are doing at the end of projects, and our partners will come in and be able to leave this document. Doesn't take the place of every single as-built, but it cuts down and it gives someone that kind of, hey, if your backups are gone and you need to rebuild this system, I can rebuild some stuff. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the change management and as-built also.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, even with the change management stuff, I mean, you've got you've got that rolling library of configuration snapshots, whether it's 2 weeks or you've got a couple months worth within the Verify platform, and then something gets completely hosed up within the environment. At least you can go and verify and check what those settings were for those configurations back a month ago.
Yep.
Even if you don't have like a backup, like you mentioned, like you said, you can at least rebuild it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you build it, they will come.
And I think, Matt, we've talked a little bit about maybe what are a couple of your favorite when you're setting up these evaluations and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your top 3 widgets or things that you like to put onto the dashboard. I mean, I know what they are because you and I have done a whole lot of demos and evaluations, but the Planet podcast world doesn't. What are some ones that you kind of try to hit right out of the box to show people kind of that quick, hey, here's some good data for you to take a look at?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a dashboard hound. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, I think everybody on my team knows I can.
I've seen your dashboard.
I even want to say some of my dashboards are probably in our marketing slicks. But I would say the couple definite main ones I definitely build on any system I go into is going to be leaderboard style widgets that I call them. But what they really are, they're top end grouping number widgets that I sort, total count highest to lowest. So I call them leaderboards. But for instance, for inbound call traffic. So if you looking to identify maybe those repeat dialers or even robo dialers they're calling into the environment maybe too frequently, very easy for us to build that out in a quick widget, just leaning on a couple different patterns within our search criteria. From there, then I kind of replicate that and I kind of build in tandem with that another leaderboard style widget for based off of abnormal cause codes. So those cause codes that are on the CDR records out of the call manager, there's obviously 2 of them, an originating and a terminating. But if there's anything abnormal or potentially malicious, we want to know about it. So it's very easy in that widget there, and it's filter out the normal varieties and then look for the highest, maybe 20 or 30 or so of abnormal ones, and look and see what their repeat intervals are over X time frame, we'll say. So from there, I mean, definitely when you have those kind of, I have them normally kind of either side by side or on top of one another. So what you can see the inbound robo dialers or the people that are calling in too frequently, because also there's going to be times when there's penetration attempts within an environment. So if those are happening, you're going to see obviously an influx of either the same patterns of number, if not the same exact number, calling in time and time again, and coming in, very intrusive, very fast in a short amount of time frame. So normally the call manager is going to try and ward off a lot of that stuff for the programmers from the UC admin team, but you're going to see some of those, obviously those ambiguous looking cause codes. So 503 server unavailables, resource denied. We're going to see a repetitive instance of those, and to be able to trigger alerts on those for the customer IT team, let's say for instance, is of paramount importance. I always feel.
Yeah.
So building those two for certain, and then I love to build a capacity utilization kind of line graph widget over either SIP routes or PRIs, so that way that the customer can know, or the admins can know, whether they're over procured or potentially under procured on their bandwidth that they provide that they purchase and procure from their ISP.
Yep.
So whether or not they're using too many concurrent channels, or maybe they're completely under spec. Maybe they have 100 concurrent active channels they can use on that SIP route, but they're only using maybe at peak over the previous 90 days, maybe 20 or 30. So, I mean, that's so much overage and cost that they can even get a little ROI right back there, and, maybe change your contract with your provider, or obviously downgrade when it's renewal time.
Yeah.
But those three, I think, are my two.
And that's actually the exact scenario that we had today, right? So as I scrambled to pull Mr. Sykes into a call this morning, or early this afternoon, it was, the scenario was, hey, we have a customer. It was with the partner, and we have a customer that, basically their provider provided them a report and said, hey, look, we tried to deliver this many calls to you last month, and we were receiving errors. So of course the customer, right, is coming to the partner going, hey, is there any way that, we can get some data on this, which is actually, how we got involved, right? So it's a good real life scenario that, obviously fresh on the mind, but it popped up today with a partner and a customer. So.
Yeah, definitely did. We practice what we preach, Jeff.
It sounds like we've got a new workshop for July. Matt's leaderboard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. In Matt Sykes, I trust. Don't worry about
it. There you go. Have no fear. Matt is here.
Yeah. So no, Matt, that's absolutely awesome, man. And we greatly appreciate you jumping in and taking the time, and maybe we'll schedule another time here to get on and maybe dig into a few other things.
Sure. Anytime,
again, it's just wanted to, throw out again, as Vic opened with, right? We've got Cisco Live coming up here in a few weeks. We will put Matt on the badge scanner because he said he's not a sales guy. So we'll put him out there and scan people as they come by our booth, right? He can chase them down like the Cologne.
Nice.
If those still exist. Nice. I don't know. I haven't been to a mall in a really long time. However, again, we are booth 3362 at Cisco Live, coming up here in a few weeks. We also have a customer appreciation event. You can reach out directly to, if you have Verify SE contacts, myself or your account team, to get information on that. But, again, we are greatly looking forward to getting back out, seeing our customers, seeing our partners, and having a really good event at Cisco Live and our customer appreciation. So thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Planet Podcast. Matt, thank you again for taking the time, and we hope to see everybody out here in Cisco Live.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Thank you.
Time's up.